Everybody else had said, your child, her, whatever. Carol said, our kids, my kids, you know. And I said, this is where she needs to be. And she started blossoming. She has since then become a very hardworking young lady. She works at the Illinois Center for Autism's adult program. She earns a paycheck. She pays taxes. She gets to spend her money any way she wants to. So we're very, very pleased with what she had here compared to what she had before, which was babysitting and just, you know, not doing anything to help her. Whereas brought her here, they saw the potential where no one else had before. They saw that she could become something. Their ideas, our ideas here are give our kids a chance to be all that they can be, to be everything that they can be. They throw everything at them they can to help them to learn, to understand, to communicate. And with Cammie, it's like going from a very dark place to all this bright sunshine. There are people here who love her, who respect her, who care for her, who try to teach her, who help her. And she knows it and she understands it. And she works very hard, and she's always very happy to come. So I know this is the right place for Cammie. Well, at age 13 before ICA, Cammie had multiple diagnoses. My husband was military, so everywhere we moved, she got a different diagnosis because that happened to be that doctor's specialty there. And probably her medical chart at the Air Force Base is about that thick with different diagnoses. So we really never knew what was really wrong with her. And finally, when she was almost 13 years old, she was at a camp for special needs kids that the Air Force provided that was run by Wright State University in Ohio. And they told us that she was autistic, but if she were diagnosed as being autistic, that no school would touch her. She'd be at home for the rest of her life, you know, just getting no services whatsoever, because back then autism was a very scary diagnosis, not like today. And then we moved to Oklahoma, where we were all tested. They really wanted to find out if she really did have a diagnosis of autism. There at the university, they did multiple testing on her and multiple testing on us, believe it or not, and said, oh, she's definitely autistic. That's what led us actually to here, to the Illinois Center for Autism. Before that, she had very little communication. She was in programs that really were not helping her. They were babysitting her, is exactly what they were doing. One school in particular she didn't want to go to because she fought. I'd take her there and drop her off, and she didn't want to stay. And I thought, well, they're just making her work too hard or something. And come to find out, they called me one day and said, Cammie swallowed a rock. And I said, okay, I'll be right over. Is she breathing? You know, of course they assured me she was breathing. And I get over there, and she had been outside on the playground with the other kids, but what they didn't tell me was she was in a 20-foot dog run. They couldn't keep her from running away, which a lot of autistic kids do. They flight. And they had put her in a 20-foot long dog run to protect her. We were just grateful for any kind of help and support with her that, you know, we kind of took what we had. But when we found out like I told doctors in the past, I said, I don't care what her label is. I don't care what her diagnosis is. Just tell me so I can get her the right help, you know. And so when she was 13, she was diagnosed. We were sent here. The government actually said, you find a place to send her or take her and we'll transfer your husband there, which I thought was very generous and very gracious on their part. And we looked at a few programs which said she wasn't bad enough, were their terms. And then we came here and found this. We actually found it on a fluke. We came here to take her to Judavine in St. Louis, went over and actually visited it, and had kind of in our mind said, okay, this is it. But then when my husband had to come over and check into Scott Air Force Base, we heard of this little school in Fairview Heights. And I thought, okay, let's go check it out. So we did. And at the time it was behind the police station. And walked in there, and there was Carol Madison. And I cannot say enough good about that woman in my life.